hold on. This is the set. This is the set that I actually carry to all of my parties. I fill most of them, so it's easy to carry. But kind of going to get into party mode at this point. And what I say is, you know what? Probably one of my favorite things in Tupperware to do is custom kitchens. And so I'm going to show you the modular mates tonight. Now, how many of you guys have modular mates? Anybody have mine? Great. Give yourself 1,000 points. Modular mates are basically to redesign your kitchen, taking all the bags and the boxes and in your cabinet or your pantry and transforming it into the modular mates to kind of organize. I'm going to pass a little photo album, and this is something that I've taken over the last almost 20 years, of some kitchens that I have customized over the years. It gives you the before and after shots. Again, I should update this, but really it'll give you an idea of actually what it does look like. So I can just pass that around and kind of get a feel for it. I'll tell you the reason I started doing modular mates. About a year after I got into this business, one of my customers called me in a panic because she got those little mites, weebles, whatever you want to call them, in her food. And she finally had an exterminator come out because she was throwing out hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of food. And actually, it was the exterminator that sent her my way. He said, do you know anyone that sells Tupperware? They have these modular mates, they're great. They'll keep, if you get rid of the food source, you'll get rid of the bug problem. So that's kind of why I started doing modular mates in the first place. Now let me ask everybody, whether it's a house you live in now, the house you grew up in, an apartment, whatever, has ever had any type of rodent or bug, an ant, a moth, a silverfish, a roach, anything like that? Guys, give yourself 1,000 points. You get money for bugs. That is really why I started doing the custom kitchens. Now, have you ever heard you shouldn't keep cardboard boxes in your house? All right, give yourself 1,000 points for that. If you haven't heard about that, the reason you don't want to keep cardboard boxes, which includes pretty much everything we buy, unless it's in a can or a jar, it's in a bag or a box, and they're glued together. The glue of the box actually attracts bugs, especially roaches. And what happens in a grocery store is, especially roaches, they will crawl in to a sealed box. People think, oh, it's sealed, it can't get in. It can get in. It will nibble on the glue and leave. That's actually okay. The problem comes is when they crawl in, nibble on the glue, and lay eggs and leave. You bring that product home, you put it in your cabinet, and all of a sudden these little eggs hatch, and they start to just really get into everything. And so with the modular mates, basically it's an airtight system, virtually airtight. So bugs can't get in them, but once they're in them, they can't get out of them either. Now, let me ask everybody, I'm going to give somebody $2,000 if you can tell me the #1 product you think has the worst problem with bugs. What would you tell me? Flour, give yourself 1,000. Cereal, 1,000. Anybody else? Pasta. #1 product. #1 product in the grocery store that has the worst problem with bugs is pasta. Now, I have pasta in my Super Oval 3. If I went to the grocery store and brought this pasta home, put it in a modular mate and put it in my cabinet, when I open this up, 3 things can happen. #1, it's going to be absolutely fine. And I don't want to freak everybody out because really, not everything is going to have bugs in it. But that's the #1. #2, you're going to open it up and you're going to see something dead in there, bugs that are dead. Because basically, if the eggs hatched and they can't, and the bugs, they're going to try to surface to the pocket of air and they're going to suffocate and they're going to be dead. #3, you're going to open it up and you're going to see maybe live activity. Either of the last 2, you want to take it outside your house. Don't be throwing it in your kitchen trash can. Throw it outside. The great thing about modular mates is the fact that when I throw this out and I have everything else in modular mates, what am I throwing out? $1 or $2 worth of pasta instead of my whole kitchen cabinet. That's what was happening to Patty's Kitchen. That's why I started doing custom kitchens. And that also includes those paper bags you bring home from the grocery store. Don't be packing them up like my mother. She used to fold them really neat, put them in a closet. Don't bring them home. And if you do bring them home, unpack and then get rid of them. So I started with the whole bug problem. Then I moved on to kitchens that just really wanted to kind of consolidate, organize, and save some space. How many of you guys could use some extra kitchen cabinet space in your house? Anybody? Give yourself 1,000 points. With the modular mates, we have different sizes. The sizes you'll see in the catalog are ovals, squares, super ovals, and rectangles. I use super ovals and rectangles because they fit the depth of a standard kitchen cabinet. That's why I use those, okay? And the nice thing about the rectangles and the super ovals is they do fit the depth of a standard kitchen cabinet. So if I were to go into your kitchen, Joanne, and put this in a cabinet, it's going to go to the back wall, and I'm going to close it right on the front. So I utilize every inch of space from front to back. Now, here's the thing. Most people don't have a problem shoving food in their cabinet. The problem comes is the height issue. There's boxes this height, this height, this height. So you don't utilize every inch of space. But if you use modular mates, you can stack. You can't stack bag on top of bag on top of bag. So if my cabinets were higher, super ovals fit on top of rectangles. So what I would do is if I had a shelf that was a little higher, I'm just going to keep stacking until I get to the top of the next shelf. And what I've done now is I've basically consolidated all the space from front to back and top to bottom. I've taken up every inch of space. Now, you might look and say, well, you know what? I have really odd shaped cabinets. They don't have really high shelves. The nice thing about that is Tupperware actually has them in different heights. Okay, so depending on what cabinet you have, you can fit the modular mates in pretty much anything. If you have a pantry, you have no problem. If you have a standard kitchen cabinet, I kept my set to the height of a 4 because most kitchens can hold that. But they do them in heights. So you have a 1, you have a 2, you have a 3, you have a 4, and we do have a 5, which I don't carry, which is basically that height. And it's just simple mathematics. If you add a 1 to a 2, you're going to get the height of a 3. If you add the 1 to a 3, you're going to get the height of a 4. If you added the 1 to a 4, you would get the height of a 5, which I don't have. And then if I add the 3 to a 4, I get the height of a 5, and there's your modular. It's just simple math, basically. Okay? So, started off with the bug problem, moved on to just trying to help people consolidate and save some space, because most of the time when I do a custom kitchen, if I have 4 shelves of food, take that all out, put it in modular mates, and put it back in, pretty much I can guarantee my customers they're going to have a shelf and a half, if not 2 shelves totally empty. So it's saving them space. And then the people with those beautiful big kitchens love the fact that everything's organized. So I took care of the bugs, moved on to kind of organize and help you save some space, and you are going to save money when you use these. Because first of all, you're not going to throw things out the way you do when you use boxes and bags. How many of you have ever thrown anything out because it's gone stale? Cereal, crackers, pretzels, anybody? Give yourself 1,000 points. You can't roll a bag of pretzels down and let them, stay for any length of time. I've literally had food in modular mates for a couple years and used it. And I'm not talking your staples where you have flour and sugar. I'm talking like, crackers and cereal and things like that. The other thing is, how many of you have gone grocery shopping, brought something home that you thought you needed, only to find out you had 3 or 4 boxes of it behind something, okay? And if you do that, the modular mates help with that, because when I open my cabinet, I know exactly what I need to shop for. One week it might be rice and croutons, the next week it might be flour and sugar. It's all different, but it's all staring me in the face because I don't have things hiding behind the modular mates. So you are definitely going to save money because you're not buying things you don't need. You're going to save money because you're not throwing things out. All right. Now, I'm going to kind of give you some ideas of what fit in these. They're very deceiving. If you try to eyeball these, you're going to buy something that's way too big. So I'm going to help you with that. The other thing is, when you host a party with me, you get a free custom design. I will come into your kitchen and I will actually design your cabinet to look exactly like this does and the book that I have passed around. This is something that I do free of charge for my hosts, because you know what? Linda may want a custom kitchen done, so she's going to use her hostess credit to get her modular mates free and half price, and I'm going to do a custom design for her. The thing is, you might all live in the same exact development and have the same exact kitchen set up, pantry, cabinets, the whole thing, but guess what? You don't have the same food that Marty has in her kitchen, so all your designs are going to look different. So that is just something I offer to my hosts free of charge. So you will get a custom kitchen design from me when you host a party. All right? But I want to give you some ideas of what fit in here. And this is going to give you lots of extra auction money for the auction at the end. So you ready? Because this is going to be fast. I'm going to show you my favorite size. This is actually number 142. It's a rectangle too. I'm going to show you some. If this is something you have in your kitchen, I want you to give yourself 1,000 points. If you have flour or sugar, give yourself 1,000 points. If you have pasta, 1,000 points. Any type of snack foods, chips, pretzels, cheese curls, popcorn, 1,000 points. If you have microwave popcorn, 1,000 points.